Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I'm your host, Conrad Cushman, joined tonight by my co-host, Derek. We are here for a review of WWE Hell in a Cell 2021. This show has a lot to talk about. I feel like it's one of those shows that you could even say has like a mixed bag type of feeling to it. There was some good, there was some bad, and there was some ugly. And we're going to run down all of it for you guys. So if you are watching the video, please make sure you hit that like button for us. If you're new and you like what we're talking about, hit subscribe and leave us a comment down below after the fact, and we will reply to you. And last but not least, check out the podcast stuff if you haven't. Linktree down below. We have all that for you. But without further ado, let's get to the intro.
Everything pro wrestling can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson. Yes, everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you.
I see we got people in the chat saying Ben Simmons and the Sixers are trash. Did they lose? Derek's pulling it up. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out here. We got Hubbard Wrestling Weekly joining us. I appreciate that. Chad has joined us also. What's up, Chad? Appreciate you. Is Derek a Pops? Derek was a Pops way before I was. So, yes, Derek is a Pops. So, happy Father's Day to Derek and everybody in the chat who is a father, whether it be to an animal, a child, whatever it may be. If you're holding it down, much respect to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you for the love, PR. I appreciate it. Azan has also joined us. What's good, Azan? Original Biggie, first one in here. Appreciate you for the Happy Father's Day. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that. PR Nightmare threw up the hands. I believe that's for the Derek order. You guys are great. Ace is also in here, one of the best mods. What's good, man? Thank you so much. Also wish us a Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Thank you. Azan said, what's groovy? Groovy, baby. Man. Goodness gracious. I see people talking about Bethlehem, PA, and how close is that to Philly or Pittsburgh? You don't want Rob telling you how close it is right now. Ace already knows. My 9-year-old thinks your show is great. Tell your 9-year-old, thank you. I appreciate you. You're welcome to come on anytime. Like I was saying, come on in. Hit that like button. Help a brother out. So it's going to be the Bucks and the Hawks, Derek. Shocked.
Should be good, I guess.
Feels weird.
It does feel weird. I'm trying to be modest.
But it's not some of the other teams that people don't like.
That's true.
But we can't avoid this. We have to talk about Hell in a Cell. We got to go through this. Chat, I'm probably going to need a lot of your help tonight because this show was rough.
Something is going to happen.
Parts of this were rough. Jocelyn, thank you for joining us on Twitch. We are also live streaming on Twitch, Periscope. Retweet this out. Share it with somebody. We're actually 3 people away from, I believe we're at 1.43 then if we get those 3 people. So tell someone to subscribe, man. Do we have to? Yeah. I see people saying Suns need to win a championship. Well, speaking of the Suns, Hell in a Cell 2021 review. Let's start off, Derek, with the pre-show matchup here. We had Natalya, one half of the women's tag team champions, taking on Mandy Rose. I thought this was an all right matchup. Started off a little bit formulaic in the beginning. One of those things that I complain about sometimes with some of the women's I wouldn't even say the women's matches, with matches in general today in pro wrestling, and that's the overall landscape. Sometimes the matches feel formulaic, like you're waiting for spots to happen. You're like, okay, I do this, I get up, I do the roll. In the first half of the match, it did feel like that, and I get it. All wrestling matches are playing like that, but it shouldn't feel that way. I want to get lost in the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it should just be something almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It should be euphoric when you watch a match. It should just be real smooth, epic. Like sometimes it doesn't have to be over the top. It could just be a good match in its own. But you don't want it to be like, all right, like what's it? Formal dancing. 1, 2, 3, step. 1, 2, 3, step.
You don't want people to realize what you're doing. Even when you're dancing, you want people to just say like, oh, it's hitting, boom, 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 bow. Oh, I can't wait. You want to be lost in what's happening next. What's the next move?
Right.
And sometimes you're like, and that's how I felt like that. But I will say that the second half of this match I thought was very well done. Mandy Rose did a heck of a job, and I thought Natalya did too. There was one brutal spot where Natalya does that step on the back move. Face just plants right in there. It looked brutal on her. I think she definitely like busted her lip or something from that.
Would not be surprised.
This match ends though with Natty using the sharpshooter. I like it. Gets the dub. C+ match. It was just what it was. A solid match. And that's what they ended up having to do.
Hey, fits the bill.
PR said, I think WWE is garbage right now. Tonight was a glorified lead into Money in the Bank. That's all this is about. Truth, Sean. The only match I like was Bianca Belair and Bayley. What's up, John L? Thank you for joining us, man. Rob comes in. I thought the show was decent tonight. More matches delivered than didn't, in my opinion. We're going to have to talk. Mandy's used to having her face messy. Wink face. Not touching that, sir. Not touching that. Let's get into the main card, Derek. We start off with a Hell in a Cell match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley versus Bianca Belair. We go into this. This whole match was built upon the laughing. They've really done a disservice, in my opinion, to Bianca with how everything's been, like, booked, in my opinion. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, we could have done a little bit better with her, I feel.
I agree. She's come a long way from being in NXT then coming to the main roster. So again, this goes with certain treatment that certain people should get and how they should be managed, and sometimes it just doesn't go that way.
They got rid of all those people, and they could have done something like so much more with them. I don't know here. And I thought Bayley was incredibly misused at WrestleMania, so I was happy to see Bayley get this spot. And I'm like, with Bianca, it felt like one of those, it's about damn time,
Right.
Like, you should have did this stuff with her. So it felt a little bit awkward at some points in this, in the build to this, I should say. We start off the match with some great back and forth. We get to see Bianca get to show off her athleticism. She did a great backflip off the second rope during the match to avoid a Bayley strike. Bayley gets smart in the matchup and decides to use Bianca's braid against her, tying it up into the bottom rope. And Bianca finds a way to untie her hair, and Bayley eventually falls onto the steel steps. Bayley pulls out a weapon, which is 2 kendo sticks taped together. And she puts them between the cell and the apron. If you remember the Hell in a Cell from a couple months ago, where it was Sasha and Bayley going against each other, they tried the same spot again. But in this instance, Bianca ends up spine busting Bayley through both of the kendo sticks. Bayley hits a face smashing bulldog while Bianca was trapped into the ladder. But Bayley injures her knee before she can get the pinfall. She's struggling. She's hurting. She's going through everything that she needs to, and she just can't get the pinfall. Eventually, though, we get to Bianca hitting the KOD, the Kiss of Death, onto an open ladder. That looked pretty brutal. I like what they did here. 1, 2, 3. The only thing you could probably have an issue with or complain about in this was the selling. I thought at one point maybe Bianca could have sold the shoulder a little bit more after it went to the ring post.
Yeah. Not gonna crucify you for it, but that's the whole purpose. You gotta sell it, make it look good, make it look believable. If you don't do that, it's kind of hard to sell the product.
Right. B+ for this one, though. I still think they did incredible work. It wasn't Sasha versus Bayley, if that's even fair to say. because I remember giving that one an A, but this one was a B+. I still thought it was solid. Definitely one of the better matches. I'm taking a look. I would even probably, I think you could argue any of the matches that get the similar grade, the B+, as match of the night. I think you can argue 3 of them. And yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. We'll get to maybe match of the night towards the end here. Let's see who has joined us here. A said Bayley versus Bianca was match of the night for me. BJ has joined us. We have been well, BJ. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you were able to make it in here. Let's move on to match number 3, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Cesaro's making his entrance. Rollins figures out a way to jump him. This is still building off of everything that's been happening at WrestleMania. If you want, go back and see the WrestleMania review. This has just been about Seth Rollins still thinks he's the king of drip, basically, and he can just do whatever he wants. Cesaro's trying to earn himself a title shot, make something big happen. We're trying to make these moves, man. It's one of those. I basically saw the setup for this match, and I'll get to it towards the end, but it was pretty obvious to me. During this, we see many of the usual spots. We see like Seth doing the running knee off the apron to Cesaro. At one point during the match, Cesaro rips off Rollins' glove, steps on his arm, and then stuffs it down his throat.
That was I like how they showed the tenacity of Cesaro doing that. You know, so sometimes they have him play just a little too safe, and half the time I want them to do that, but the other half I want them to show like how strong he could be, how ferocious he could be. And when you don't do it with someone like him, it's you lose me on him with him being involved.
Right. I don't know, bro. With some of this here, like we know these two are going to deliver because they were in Ring of Honor together. So some of it works. And I think Cesaro is really better than the company has always given him credit for.
By far.
If that makes sense. We get an amazing exchange with Rollins eventually like getting flipped. So you know how he normally does like I got to put us on camera, I think, for this to explain myself. Rollins usually gets like his leg grabbed and then he'll jump up, land on his feet, and then do the kick. In this instance, he is like flipped, but into a circle, into like a quick like neutralizer almost setup maneuver. He reverses it. Cesaro goes over the top. This just shows like when two people who come from similar like previous wrestling companies work together, it's they know exactly what they're doing. Hit the chef's kiss. It was perfect.
That would be a good finisher.
The chef's kiss?
Yeah.
Don't start creating wrestlers that have like chef hats, Derek. I would appreciate
It's going down, bro.
So he gets him into position. Eventually gets countered. Hits an elbow to the back of Cesaro's head, knocking him loopy. Falcon arrow for the 2 count on Cesaro. We see the Cesaro swing. He's swinging him around. He goes for the sharpshooter, but it gets countered into a small package for the 1, 2, 3. Rollins gets the victory here. And here's my quick thoughts on all of this, Derek. My long-term thinking is Cesaro is going to be moved to Monday Night Raw once the SummerSlam draft happens. Like, I firmly believe that. I think he would be better off. He's not winning the world title on SmackDown. I'm sorry. It's Roman's world. We just live in it. By the way, the Rey Mysterio match happened on SmackDown. That's why if you're wondering, like, how come in the preview there was a Rey Mysterio match? It happened. It's gone. It's done. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Roman beat Rey's ass. That's it. That's all I can say. But I think that Cesaro will end up going to Raw and Rollins will stay on SmackDown. But I do think Rollins' babyface run is coming again.
I think so too. I think people are falling out of the disciple gimmick. Even though I do feel like it could have been done 10 times better if they would have done it correctly. And I really feel like that they didn't do it the right way. So I think it is time to give up this gimmick and have him go babyface again.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the King of Drip. I don't know. He feels like a corny Batman villain that's just not believable. I feel like a lot of people in wrestling, especially on the WWE side of things, are just not in the best of spots. Me and Casey definitely talked about this on the phone when Cesaro had the I don't know what you want to call it, the lip spit afterwards on his lip. He got rid of it though immediately as soon as the camera cut away.
Yeah, that was thick.
Piss. We gave this a B+ too though, so this was another one I think could be argued. This is your match of the night. I believe it.
Gotta hit the Trump thing.
I do not endorse any of this. B+ for this matchup though.
B+.
I think better things will be coming for both men if people book things right. And I definitely just got a fake Facebook friend request that will be deleted after the show for those who care. Next up, we have Shayna Baszler with Nia Jax and Reginald taking on Alexa Bliss. I know that I upset a bunch of the Alexa Bliss stands out there. Oh, their fingers were just typing away. Just, I'm so pissed that you don't like this. I don't have to like this. And I stand my ground that Alexa Bliss in this storyline sucks. It sucks. The whole storyline sucks. Does she suck as a talent? No, I never said that. This storyline definitely sucks. And I'm here to correct Derek. Derek can go last when we talk about all this because he's got a lot to say about this.
I definitely do.
But, bro, Shayna Baszler being afraid of a doll, whatever, bro. Okay, cool. I see what they think of her. They're trying to maybe expand her character, tap into something that they can really pull something from. It's the WWE way. Alexa Bliss has taken over Bray Wyatt's character. Reginald's been hypnotized. Nia Jax, I guess, has been hypnotized. I don't even know if that's the proper word you want to use for this. Alexa Bliss hits a senton at one point during this match. Shayna and Reginald, Alexa Bliss has a senton on Shayna, and Reginald's on the outside covering his eyes like this when he's supposed to be looking at her. I don't understand. I don't get why he's covering his eyes. If she has this much power over people, why doesn't she just tell people to lay down and just win the matches?
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy. So Alexa uses mind control on Shayna at one point, and Shayna lets go of a submission. I have to take this off. She let go of a submission. She's holding on. Alexa gets the power, and she lets go. That was the one on Shayna. Then we had at one point Alexa takes control of Nia Jax, and they're using like similar hand motions, and she basically has Nia slap Reginald across the face. And then Reginald goes down. She hits Twisted Bliss and gets the 1-2-3. I gave this a D-. Now, you guys know I am one of the toughest people to give Ds. I've given Ds to matches maybe like Bill Goldberg versus Steve McMichael. I have given Ds to matches, and that's with all due respect. The match was just bad. I like both those guys, but it's just like, nah, we can't do this. This match was a D- for the shitty storytelling. I don't know what they're going to do when they get back on the road. I'm throwing this to Derek. I will stop. Listen, I do not endorse anything Derek ever says on this show. Derek says what he wants to say. But I will stop him if this gets crazy because Derek wants to go on a rant. He wanted me to save this for the end, but I didn't want it to feel like the whole show was bad. So
yeah, I had to rethink that. He was right. We had to stay with the formula by match, so I left it alone.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. The fuck was this? What the fuck was this? So first of all, let me say to all the little Alexa Bliss fans,
stands they're called. To be fair,
whatever the fuck you want to call them, I like Alexa Bliss, but you as I would like to say, a logical person, logical fan, logical stand however you want to look at this, you have to look at this as complete bullshit. So you got rid of Bray Wyatt. So Bray Wyatt, for those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do, but those who are coming in who don't know, Bray Wyatt has been my favorite wrestler ever since he's been here. We have gotten to this point where he has this whole persona with him and the Fiend, right? So now you take Alexa Bliss to be these quote unquote whatever the fuck she is. No one knows, no one cares except you, the fans who are her fans. How did you take Bray Wyatt off the Fiend and then give it to Alexa Bliss, who has the same persona? I want to know how this works, because you're saying that Bray Wyatt is no longer here, but yet we have his little stepsister here who takes over everything that he's been doing since day one before he took Alexa Bliss under his wing for this whole stretch. So she comes out to the Playhouse music. She has her own little friend that no one cares about.
Lily's in timeout, by the way.
Lily can kiss ass right now. You have Alexa Bliss dressed up technically like a female version of the Fiend. She just hasn't dressed in a certain way. She just has to be this way. So you have Shayna Baszler afraid. You have her mind controlling. I'm pretty sure I think the Fiend did that maybe once or twice. Let's see. You have her controlling Nia Jax, who looks like a fucking idiot standing there like that. No offense to Nia Jax, but she just does. You can't sit here and tell me that this is exactly what we had with Bray Wyatt, but now you like this better. I don't understand. It's complete garbage. Garbage. I don't understand. Like, how, dude?
I don't know, bro. I have no idea what this company is doing, what they're trying to do. I'm lost with this. End the storyline, number one. I don't know how we can make Alexa Bliss go back to regular. I don't know what they want from this, but it's got to go. This shit's got to stop. It's been bad. I want to highlight some comments real quick. Casey saying, yeah, it'd be one thing if they had built these powers up beforehand, but no, just magic hypno powers out of nowhere. Agreed. Azan said decent but silly. Rob said CJ out here slinging D's. That's how you got to celebrate today in the first place. Shame, good sir. Shame on you. Alexa has some new moves. Match was predictable. I get that she's supposed to be the evil doll, but using Twisted Bliss doesn't help with the character that they want her to be. Agreed, Jocelyn. I thought she was going to win from that DDT, but that DDT looked like crap. So maybe they had to call an audible at the last second.
Well, I had to, but then, go ahead.
PR said, I told you WWE doesn't care anymore about storylines or their talent. It's garbage. LeGoat says this match was trash AF. Reggie getting more TV time than Damian Priest. Damn. Husky Harris. Brea, Bliss stole my whole effing flow.
Basically.
Why is she using his music to come out and not her own?
Thank you, dude. I don't understand. Who writes the stories?
There's an audience of one that they write for.
That audience of one is a fucking idiot.
Take it easy, pal. But listen, I will say this. If you're wondering why wasn't this an F, thank goodness that Shayna Baszler and Alexa Bliss can wrestle, because if not, this probably would have been in the F territory. I saved those for Jenna Maraska versus Sharmell.
I wanted to give it an F because it was just a complete carbon copy with just a female instead of a male.
Hey, listen, Jocelyn hit the nail right in the head with what you're talking about. Why don't you use the music as your own? let's get to this next matchup here, which I thought was great. Not even great. It was good, but it was what we expected. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. They got this show right back on track. This is exactly what we expected from these two. I have nothing but respect for them trying to get the last match out of our minds. Like, that last match, it sucked. It sucked. It was trash. Like, I don't know what anybody else wants to say, but, can I just say, this match card graphic for Sami Zayn, it's terrible. I love that they keep using this ever since the Smackdown one. That face is freaking hilarious.
Fidel Zayn.
Dude, these two have a great match every time they get in the ring with each other. I love the half Nelson suplex we always get from Zayn. Kevin Owens is still struggling to breathe in this matchup from the injuries on SmackDown by Crew's General Aziz. Apparently, maybe that's what they were talking about, Casey. I was thinking about this after the fact. Maybe that's why they kept bringing up General Aziz, because Owens was having a struggle breathing because of the spike move that he uses. But eventually, Sami Zayn gets the win in this one from a haluva kick. If you've seen their matches, guys, you've seen this match before. It's always solid work. Sami Zayn, El Generico, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, whatever you want to call it, these guys deliver every single time when they get in that ring. And I have no complaints about this. Like, I have no complaints at all. B for this match. Would it have been a B+? Maybe if I'd never seen it before, but I've seen it. It was good, though. It's always good. And I think we'll see these guys in the Money in the Bank ladder match next month. And I'm really hoping that that's a fun show. We need it to be.
Need something.
But Money in the Bank's always interesting because I don't know if there's like a shoe-in to put the briefcase on this year. It could go to Cesaro. It could go to Zayn. It could go to Owens. It can go to a lot of people who need the boost.
Yeah, there are way too many people who need like the quick pick-me-up. And Money in the Bank, I think, would be perfect for a lot of people. And I think like the appropriate people too, like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. It's a number of people that it's a plethora of wrestlers that deserve to get that push, and Money in the Bank is the job.
I can see Big E even being in the mix with it. Kofi.
That would be even. That will also be the time to start the Big E adventure. Honestly,
it could be Brock. Brock could show up and be put in this too. If he wants to wrestle again, I don't know. We haven't seen him back since.
I mean, if Brock does come back, I don't want to see him in the Money in the Bank. I think I would rather him just come out and say, you know what, Bob, this has been a long time coming, brother. I think we need to get this going.
I agree with Casey. Sami is so good. This was a great match, he said, because we need someone to face Apollo. Yeah, we're probably going to get a feud between Cruz or Apollo Crews, and Kevin Owens coming up here. The giant bootleg Umaga Castro. I just wish Money in the Bank would be back at WrestleMania instead of its own pay-per-view. I can see why they would want to cash in on that, though, too, Obi-Wan. It's a great way just to sell a pay-per-view. Just based off that ladder match, because it's such a big deal now.
Yeah, it is. It is. I have high hopes for Money in the Bank because when you have those kinds of matches involved in that kind of pay-per-view, it's usually pretty good.
Azan said he meant Sami versus Apollo. Could be a triple threat too. I like it that they all three could be feuding for the Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
Let's move on to the next match. We're going to try and get this review done and over with pretty quickly for you guys tonight. Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. I have a lot to say about this one, too. So before the bell even rings, Charlotte throws the Women's Championship at Rhea Ripley, taking advantage, just trying to put the beat down on her in this matchup. They seem to be playing off of Charlotte going like after Rhea for head games in this match. Like, oh, I beat you before, you know that you can't beat me, blah, 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 blah. Which is all true. Fine. Okay. Charlotte hits natural selection for a close count while trying to use her legs as leverage on the rope. She gets caught. It was a little bit of a weird spot there. Afterwards, Charlotte goes for a moonsault. Rhea moves. Charlotte lands on her feet and then hits another moonsault for a near fall for a pin. Rhea hits a cradle for a 2. We then see Riptide, but Charlotte is able to get her foot on the rope at the last minute. That's when Derek uttered, Charlotte's about to win this. And he was correct in that. Charlotte locks in the figure 8 on Rhea Ripley, but they're able to roll out to the ring. And I thought right there it was going to be over, Derek. Like, no lie.
Yeah. She did some heavy damage. Kudos to Rhea for selling the knee injury the way she did.
Yeah, she did a good job with it. Casey said if any gimmick shouldn't be its own pay-per-view, telling to sell. 100%, brother.
Yes.
100%. The TLC is probably second for me, right behind that. Yeah. Let's see here. Casey's chanting for Charlotte. Obi-Wan said go off. This one's not as bad as the other one. Like, Derek handled that one perfectly. But my thing is going to be caught up later that I'm going to go off about. And we're getting right to it, actually. After the figure 8, they go on the floor. During this time while on the floor, a disqualification occurs. Rhea Ripley hits Flair with the top piece of the table. Bro, I know that you don't want dead air on here, but I'm like trying to figure this out. Anytime someone clears off a table and puts another wrestler through a table, then shouldn't that be a DQ?
Should be.
People get slammed onto that all the time, and people accidentally get touched or hit with the piece of table all the time. And tonight, it's a disqualification. Who's writing this? Who says, yes, that's the finish? Why couldn't you just grab the ring bell? A steel chair. There are many of weapons that you shouldn't be touching.
Right.
And in this instance, we're like, you know what? Nah. Let's use a piece of the table. Stupid. Stupid finish, bro. This finish ruined this matchup. I gave it a C, and they brawled afterwards. So we know at Money in the Bank there's going to be a rematch between these two. And I'm sure it's going to be great.
No.
I'm sure it's going to be great. It's happening. I'm telling you. That's why they did this. This is to prolong the feud.
No, it's happening, but it ain't going to be great. I don't care for Charlotte. Sick of Charlotte. Should be, if she wins the title, this will be what? I looked it up the other day. She's 12 time now.
I think so.
Yeah, so this would be 13 time. Yeah, no, sick of it. Don't care.
Casey said Charlotte with the W. Woo! Who booked this crap? McMahon. Yeah, I don't see, bro. Like I said, this could have been a match that was in the B territory. The booking just took me all out of it, man. It went from it was at the C+ range, and then I had to knock it down because of that finish was stupid.
It was.
A said 14, he believes. I don't know if the tag, don't count the tag title reigns, though, I don't think. Only thing I'll give Rhea is that Rhea is pulling Charlotte moves and DQing instead of tapping out. Yeah, I am happy Rhea did get to retain. It'll be great. Derek is wrong. Who else is there? They haven't built anyone else up.
They don't have anybody.
They don't want to build up anybody else, though, is the problem. You have people on the roster. You just choose not to. Where's Nikki Cross? You had Nikki Cross. Oh, I beat both of them. I lasted this X amount of time. Why is Nikki Cross not doing anything? Even from a storyline standpoint, it would make sense. She's pinned them. She's beaten them. This is stupid. Yeah. I can't. But this is the same company that'll do DQ finishes with a piece of the table.
Right. Listen, I respectfully disagree that this will be a great match. This match will fucking suck.
I don't think it's gonna suck. I think you don't want to. I think you don't want to like the outcome.
No, it's gonna suck, bro. This
match wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad matchup.
It was bad to me, bro.
Was the WrestleMania match bad? 36.
36.
So we're going back 2 WrestleManias ago when she was challenging for the NXT Championship.
No,
I thought that was a good match.
No, I thought that was good. I thought that was good. This match was fucking garbage to me.
I think, Casey, we talked about this. I think Derek, for the most part, is fed up about Charlotte just basically being pushed over, and you're going to neglect the rest of your roster.
Yeah, she gets the fucking what is it? Like she gets the fucking spit shine in New York City on the corner. Like, all right, here, let me shine you up real quick so we can get you fucking moving. No, I don't care.
PR Nightmare said he thinks it's 14 as well because they're trying to have her beat her daddy. Boo. I mean, woo. Still no wrong. Nah, they have good chemistry. The match was solid. I agree, dumb finish, but the match itself was good. I'm with Casey on that.
Nah, they were both fucking sloppy.
Derek's not feeling this one, and that's your right, bro. I'm going to move on to the main event match. WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley with MVP in his corner. This match was different. These two start off with a very Smash Mouth style. It reminded me of some of those matches I went back and saw them do in Impact Wrestling. These two have a knack for just beating the hell out of each other in this. Like, Derek watched the welts on the backs. At one point during this, Bobby Lashley got like a really gnarly gash on his right shoulder, and I was like, dude, what the hell is going on in this match? In like the first 5 minutes.
He's always getting cut.
I don't know why that made me laugh. The Poochie treatment. Yeah, so we're talking about the gnarly gash. These two just come in. It's a Smash Mouth match. Like, Bobby's raking Bobby Lashley's, or Drew's raking Bobby Lashley's face across the cage. Bobby's got the gash in his shoulder. These guys are just going at it at every single point in this. As Drew is getting ready to set up a table on the outside, MVP hands Bobby Lashley his cane. Lashley uses it as a weapon. This was different. Drew begins to wear Bobby Lashley's ass out with a steel chair. Lashley begins to put a beat down on Drew, who then grabs a kendo stick. MVP then helps wedge Drew between the cage with the kendo stick. I like that. Credit to New Day and the Usos. They were the first that I saw do that spot with a bunch of sticks, and I thought that was really dope. But they use it here, and I thought they did a good job with this. Lashley begins to give him those hands, and then we get to the part where the ref gets knocked out accidentally by a chair from Drew. This has to allow the cage door to get open because there has to be shenanigans in a Hell in a Cell match. Right. So the referee's got to open the cage door up. He unlocks it. He gets in. And as he's going to make a count, 1, 2, MVP pulls out the ref. And Drew looks like he is ready to beat the hell out of MVP for this. Eventually, it's a Claymore kick to MVP. Bobby on the outside locks in the Hurt Lock. But Drew notices he set up a table in the beginning of the match, runs all the way backwards, and both men crash through the table. I thought that was a cool spot. Drew looks for a Claymore. Lashley ducks while Drew rolls out to the apron. He ends up getting like a spine buster slam through the table. Down goes Drew. He is out. He is done for. So it looks. And then Lashley looks like he's going for the spear, but Drew counters with a backslide that he beat Randy Orton with at SummerSlam last year. And eventually this is a 2 count. Drew hits the Future Shock DDT, and he knows he has to hit that Claymore like he did on Raw to get the victory. And as he's in the corner, MVP comes up and grabs the man's foot. He goes, oh, what the hell are you doing? And as he's trying to grab MVP, Lashley comes up from behind. 1, 2, 3 with a roll-up. Drew McIntyre's chances of going to face Lashley for the WWE Championship are gone. Time is up. We're moving forward with this. Thank goodness.
Yes.
We needed to. B+, though, for the match. Arguable. Could this be match of the night for you? Sure. Why not? B+. Derek, what was your match of the night if you had to pick one here?
Oh, boy. Honestly, this one's tough, bro. I would have to say probably Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley.
For you?
Yeah.
I can respect that. I think for me personally, I am going to go with the women's Hell in a Cell match. I'm going to go with Bayley and Bianca Belair. It could have. There were parts that we talked about before where the selling could have been a little bit better, but I do think that was a hell of a matchup, and I love the KOD on the ladder. It was brutal. Casey, stop trolling. Interesting. So when we look at it, chat, I'm going to ask you guys the same question. What is the overall grade for the show tonight? This is not Derek's epic Hell in a Cell. What was that? 2019 rant.
2019. Yep.
Shout out to all those who clipped that for us and shared it on social media. That was great with all of us laughing and just going off about it. But Derek, tonight, how do you feel about the show overall?
I mean, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't too bad either. I mean, you still had some good matches on there, but it's not enough to say like this was a great pay-per-view. Not even close. Just because you had so many things that happened. What mainly took me out of it was the whole Alexa Bliss thing. That shit took me out of it super quick. Because as soon as she came out and you had the music and everything, basically the same, and you tried to change it up just a little bit, and then she went from her mannerisms in the ring by doing her own little version of Bray Wyatt's bridge walk, except she did hers differently. Same thing, you know, the whole mind control thing. Like who said it? Someone said it. Like what was said? You know, basically like if the superpowers. I think Casey said it.
If the superpowers were better explained.
Yeah, if they were better explained and like done in the beginning instead of just saying like, oh, hey, I have superpowers now. I'm about to control everybody that I need to control. Like if you would have done that from the get-go, then it would have made more sense. But it doesn't make sense now because you're just throwing it in there.
Maybe that's what that black ooze was at WrestleMania.
Probably.
Stupid.
Yeah. But in any case, bro, I think this was a decent subpar. When I say that, it's double negative.
Casey said he would have given it a B, but the Alexa Bliss and Shayna Crap dragged it down to a C minus. Rob says, # stop bashing Bliss. You guys just doing, you know how great she is, really is. You're probably Sasha fans. I am a Sasha fan. I don't give a shit. Sasha puts on great matches, though.
I am a fan of anybody who can put on a great match. Besides Charlotte.
I was gonna say, you know what it is. No, I think the quote he was trying to say it was Charlotte is awesome. Casey trolling. Insiders has joined us. What is going on, man? We're just wrapping up right now. Just going off on what we liked, what we didn't like for some of the matches here. Stop bashing Bliss. You guys stop with the trolling. Stop with the Alexa Bliss trolling. I was attacked by some Alexa Bliss stands in our preview and predictions video. # we want Sasha. I agree, Matt. I think she'll be back for SummerSlam.
I just want great matches.
Yeah. We've got some good stuff coming up. Hopefully Money in the Bank and SummerSlam will get things going again on the right mode here for WWE. Normally, we don't do anything else like this where we get to do the WWE reviews. I just happen to be in luck tonight, but it is what it is. Insider said, thought the show was kind of predictable. Finishes hurt it. Yeah, the finishes were a little bit rough. I think this show had 6 matches on the main card. 3 were good to great. I would say 3 were really good, and then the rest of the matches were like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Derek, I'll bring Charlotte's Greatest Hit DVD when I come to visit. D, nothing really stood out. Glad this is out of the way. PR Nightmare says, stop the woo and give an opportunity to someone else. Back with new weave. Bank on it. Come on, Obi-Wan. Come on, Obi-Wan. Last pay-per-view without fans, so that's good. I definitely agree with that, Joe. 100%. And make sure you guys check out Insiders Pro Wrestling. If you guys like watch-alongs, positive talk in the pro wrestling community, these guys have it. And I think it's important too to say, like, we've been talking about this even personally for a while. It's important to support some of the new people in the wrestling community. I know that there's some bigger channels and everything else, and a lot of them are super negative, super draining sometimes. And do they make good points? Absolutely. But so do some of the positive channels. And I think we got to meet somewhere in the middle on some of these arguments.
Definitely, yeah. Meeting in the middle will definitely help out because there are good aspects to this. But
right, and look, everybody's excited when the fans come back. I'm excited too. PR, at least Joe's in NXT. NXT was the show of the week, in my opinion. Not going to lie. I wanted to see Drew go off the top of the cell onto the monitors. Hell no. That would have been a DQ probably, Casey. Knowing this.
Drew wouldn't have been able to take that fall.
Hell no. He would have been hurt.
That fall would have clearly messed him up.
Insiders, not a problem, man. But make sure you guys check them out. I know that we're wrapping this show up. I just wanted to say that I appreciate each and every one of you. Fans will be back soon. And soon the AEW Dynamite reviews on Wednesday will be back. I'm trying to get something set up where me and Casey can do some reviews. We kind of had our first assignment tonight that we're going to try and do a review together on. Hopefully it works out with some scheduling. You guys will enjoy it. It'll be a classic retro review for you guys that'll be coming up. But the question is, what will it be? Stay tuned to find out that. For myself, my co-host Derek, this was our review of WWE Hell in a Cell. We gave it a C+ for an overall score. Definitely worth half the matches checking out. The other half, not so much.
Right.
But thank you guys for joining us tonight for the review. We will be back with another video soon. Peace.